Lalo, a rivalry that has captivated basketball fans for years, just took a dramatic, even shocking turn in the WNBA. For half a decade, the names Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers have been intertwined, sparking debate and excitement across the nation. They were high school phenoms who chose vastly different paths. Clark to the University of Iowa, Bueckers to the storied UConn program. While Clark largely dominated their college matchups, especially in the intense pressure of the NCAA tournament, critics like legendary coach Geno Auriemma openly questioned if her explosive game could ever truly translate to the professional level. But then, it happened. Last night, these two basketball titans faced off for the very first time as pros when the Indiana Fever hosted the Dallas Wings. What unfolded wasn't just a hotly anticipated game, it was Caitlin Clark making history in a way that only she has ever done before, twice. Get ready, because the records broken that night are just the beginning of this incredible story. The genesis of a rivalry, from high school courts to college dreams. Picture this, two teenage basketball phenoms destined to clash for years, making waves across America long before they ever stepped foot on a professional court. Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers first crossed paths in high school, both top recruits, yet with completely different playing styles and even more contrasting personalities. Clark exploded onto the scene with her electrifying scoring, precision passing, and an uncanny ability to drain deep three-pointers from anywhere on the court. Bueckers, on the other hand, showcased smooth, efficient play, a silky mid-range shot, and court vision that truly rivaled Clark's own. Their college paths diverged dramatically, setting the stage for epic showdowns. Bueckers chose the legendary UConn program, joining a dynasty under coach Geno Auriemma, a team that had multiple championships under its belt. Clark, however, picked Iowa, a program hungry to prove itself on the biggest stage. This decision ignited what would become defining NCAA tournament battles for both their legacies. Clark's Iowa team famously crushed Bueckers' UConn dreams in March Madness, with Clark dropping monster performances when it mattered most. That included a jaw-dropping 41-point masterpiece that sent the Huskies home early. She consistently outplayed Bueckers head-to-head, winning 2 of their 3 intense college matchups. This wasn't just basketball, it was a phenomenon. Analysts and fans began passionately picking sides, fueling an almost mythical rivalry that transcended college. In basketball, many said, "Oh, everything is she was Caitlin before Caitlin. She's better than Caitlin." But that talk quickly faded as Clark's college numbers began to tell an undeniable story. Even with her collegiate dominance, skepticism followed Clark into her professional career. Legendary UConn coach Geno Auriemma himself had specific pointed criticisms of Clark's game. He openly questioned her shot selection and outright doubted her WNBA readiness, often comparing it unfavorably to his own star, Paige Bueckers. Auriemma firmly believed that Bueckers' fundamental approach would translate much better to the professional level. Clark's explosive, high-risk scoring and Bueckers' smooth, efficient style truly represented 2 distinct philosophies of basketball excellence. The whispers in the league were harsh, with some veterans predicting a rude awakening for the young star. The anticipation for their first WNBA showdown was massive, with ABC picking up the national broadcast, knowing this matchup would draw viewers from across the country. Clark, still navigating her early WNBA struggles with the Fever, faced immense pressure, making this game not just important for the team, but crucial for her burgeoning reputation. But here's where things get incredibly interesting. Clark's Indiana Fever were stumbling badly, reeling from a brutal losing streak right before this massive showdown with the Wings. The team had just suffered embarrassing losses, not to powerhouses, but to teams they absolutely should have beaten, like the LA Sparks and the Golden State Valkyries. These weren't just defeats. They were head-scratching performances that left fans scratching their heads. The Fever, a team with so much hype, looked utterly lost. Clark herself acknowledged the difficult period, admitting to a shooting slump. Yet her confidence never wavered. "I'm never going to stop shooting," she declared, even comparing her situation to Steph Curry's occasional cold streaks. She remained adamant that she was getting good looks, making the misses all the more frustrating. Despite her personal belief, the team's struggles were undeniable, and the air around the Fever felt heavy with unresolved issues. Behind the scenes, a philosophical war was brewing, creating real tension within the Fever organization. It was Caitlin Clark's fast-paced, high-octane vision clashing directly with coach Stephanie White's more controlled, half-court approach. Clark thrived on transition basketball, seeing the court like a chess master, always looking for fast break opportunities and quick scores. White, however, preferred a deliberate, slower pace, emphasizing structured plays. This fundamental disagreement in basketball philosophy wasn't just talk. It created visible friction. The exact moment this conflict spilled into public view was during a heated sideline exchange between Clark and White during a game against the Atlanta Dream. Cameras caught every word of their intense discussion, the visible intensity and disagreement revealing the true depth of their conflict. Reports even suggested a deeper something going on within the locker room, the front office. Adding to the chaos were constant lineup inconsistencies. Clark was returning from an injury, trying to find her rhythm. Darius Dantas was back from playing with her national team. These constant changes shattered their chemistry, making it impossible for the team to establish consistent rotations or offensive flow. Players were still figuring out their roles with key pieces coming and going. The offensive mishaps plaguing the Fever were painful to watch. Shots bricked game after game, turnovers killed promising possessions, and the fast break magic Clark typically thrived on was completely absent. As Clark herself admitted, the team was caught in a frustrating cycle of one good game, and then we play a bad game, then we play a good game, then we play a bad game. Her shooting struggles became a major concern during this stretch, but her defiant spirit remained. I know those are shots that I can make, and I'm never going to stop shooting. The breaking point came when the Fever finally snapped their losing streak against Atlanta, securing a much-needed win. But the underlying tensions between Clark and White remained high. The philosophical divide hadn't been resolved. It was merely put on hold, waiting for the next eruption. The highly anticipated Dallas game became the ultimate test. Would Coach White finally unleash Clark's preferred style, allowing the team to play at the frenetic pace Clark believed in? Or would the philosophical divide continue to hold back the team's immense potential? This internal struggle set up the perfect storm for the Bueckers matchup, with Clark desperate to prove her approach could dominate at the professional level. Then, something truly magical happened. Stephanie White finally gave Clark exactly what she'd been asking for. Against Dallas, White made a crucial, game-changing decision. She let Clark control the tempo and run the offense entirely her way. This wasn't just a small adjustment. White completely transformed her approach, putting her trust in Clark to lead the team at the blistering pace she envisioned. Early in the game, it wasn't immediately clear if this bold new strategy would work. Both teams felt each other out in the first quarter. The Fever looked good, but not spectacular. They were slowly finding their rhythm, with Clark diligently getting her teammates involved, but the real fireworks hadn't started. The Wings were keeping pace, and the game felt competitive. Then came the explosive second quarter, and everything clicked into place. Clark started pushing the pace like never before. She was finding teammates with those full-court passes, the ones fans lovingly dubbed touchdown passes. The Fever scored an incredible 36 points in that quarter alone, outscoring Dallas by a stunning 21 points in just 10 minutes. This wasn't just good basketball, it was basketball poetry in motion. Clark's teammates responded to her leadership in astounding ways. Kelsey Mitchell caught fire, pouring in 20 points on 8 of 12 shooting, extending her double-digit scoring streak to an incredible 21 games. Mitchell was hitting shots from everywhere, fueled by Clark's energy and the lightning pace. Natasha Howard ran the floor like a gazelle, finishing with 18 points on an incredibly efficient 8 of 9 shooting, attacking the rim relentlessly. And Aaliyah Boston absolutely dominated inside, using her size and strength to control the paint. finishing every opportunity Clark created for her. The chemistry between Clark and Boston was simply perfect. Clark would draw defenders with her speed, then find Boston for easy baskets, showcasing a telepathic connection. Maud. Here's what made this performance truly special. The Fever scored a franchise record 64 points in the first half, playing the most beautiful, free-flowing basketball they'd shown all season. This shattered their previous record of 63 points set back in 2016. Furthermore, those 64 points marked the highest scoring half by any WNBA team during the 2025 season. The Fever's 30 assists tied a franchise record, and a stunning 13 of those came from Clark, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that she could elevate everyone around her when given the freedom to play her game. Clark wasn't just scoring. She was making her teammates better, facilitating an incredible ball movement where every pass had purpose. Every possession felt dangerous. Sophie Cunningham provided the perfect spark off the bench, adding another scoring threat that Dallas couldn't handle, scoring 13 points and even reaching 1,500 career points on a driving layup. The second quarter's 36-point output tied for the third most points scored in a single quarter in Fever franchise history, with the team shooting a blistering 76.2% from the field during this period. They went on a suffocating 33-9 run that lasted nearly 8 minutes. The Wings had absolutely no answers for this pace and energy. The game quickly became a complete blowout, as the Wings simply couldn't match Indiana's intensity. Dallas looked tired and confused, unable to keep up with the Fever's transition game. Clark's vision for fast-paced basketball was working perfectly at the professional level. This wasn't just a win. It was undeniable proof that Clark's unbridled fast break style could dominate at the professional level. White had finally unleashed the monster, and the results were nothing short of historic. But here's the moment that will be remembered forever. While dominating the game, Clark wasn't just winning. She was quietly putting together a stat line that had only been achieved once before in WNBA history. She was doing everything on the court, scoring efficiently without forcing shots, perfectly setting up teammates, and then something special started happening on defense. The numbers were building throughout the game. Clark finished with 14 points, showcasing her efficient scoring. She dished out 13 assists, undeniably proving she could make everyone around her better. And then, the defensive plays started coming. Clark was reading passing lanes like a mind reader, anticipating the Wings' next move before they even made it. The exact moment that made history occurred when Clark recorded her 5th steal of the game. This completed a phenomenal stat line of 14 points, 13 assists, and 5 steals. This made Caitlin Clark the only player in WNBA history to achieve this specific combination twice in her career. She now stands completely alone, the sole player in WNBA history to post this exact stat line in 2 individual games. Clark's defensive impact went far beyond those 5 steals. She recorded a crucial block that immediately led to a fast break assist to Sophie Cunningham. This play showcased her complete court awareness and her incredible ability to create scoring opportunities through defensive plays. She was disrupting the Wings' offensive flow with her anticipation skills. Every possession felt dangerous when Clark was on defense. Paige Bueckers and the Wings had absolutely no answer for Clark's complete game. The most telling statistic was Auric Unali, one of the Wings' supposed best players, going a shocking 0 for 10 from the field and finishing with only 2 points. Clark's defensive pressure, combined with the Fever's stifling team defense, rendered her completely ineffective. This abysmal performance from a key player highlighted the Fever's total dominance. The Wings' strategy of trying to be overly physical with Clark backfired spectacularly. They resorted to grabbing her off the ball and not switching screens, but this aggressive approach was completely ineffective because Clark expertly used their aggression to find open teammates and drive to the basket. Every time they tried to slow her down physically, she found a way to make them pay. The final score of 102-83 wasn't just a victory, it told the whole story. Clark had answered every critic and silenced every doubter who questioned her WNBA readiness. This wasn't just a good game. It was a powerful statement performance that showed she unequivocally belonged among the league's elite players. 1 second. This historic performance unequivocally proved that Caitlin Clark wasn't just adapting to the WNBA. She was actively rewriting what was possible at the professional level. The long-standing rivalry with Paige Bueckers had reached a dramatic new chapter, and Clark had written the opening pages in utterly dominant fashion. Bueckers. This blowout victory over Bueckers and the Wings laid bare the Indiana Fever's true potential when Clark is finally unleashed to play her signature style of fast-paced, uninhibited basketball. Franchise records fell, individual achievements piled up, and most importantly, the team chemistry finally clicked when Coach White truly trusted Clark's vision. With the second half of, fake sticks, the 2025 season approaching, and this captivating rivalry just beginning its professional chapter, basketball fans have every reason to be incredibly excited for what comes next. The Fever face challenging road games against Connecticut and New York ahead, but with Clark now fully unleashed, anything feels possible. But no.